Woodworking is an art. It's about transforming raw timber into something beautiful and functional. Every piece tells a story, and every step in the process contributes to the final masterpiece. One such crucial step, often overlooked, is sanding. Sanding is more than just smoothing out rough edges. It's about preparing the wood for its final act. A well-sanded surface takes on finishes beautifully, revealing the wood's inherent character. It's the foundation upon which a masterpiece is built. Imagine this: you've spent hours crafting a beautiful wooden table. You've chosen the wood carefully, cut it precisely, and assembled it with care. But when it comes to the finish, it looks dull and uneven. The problem? Inadequate sanding. Sanding, when done right, elevates woodworking from good to exceptional. It's about respecting the wood and coaxing out its natural beauty. In the following sections, we'll delve deep into the world of sanding, arming you with the knowledge and techniques to achieve a professional finish every time. Choosing the right sandpaper can feel like navigating a hardware store maze. Fear not, we'll break it down, making the selection process as smooth as the finish you crave. Sandpaper comes in different types, each with its own strengths. Aluminum oxide is your workhorse, ideal for general sanding on wood, metal, and even drywall. Garnet, a bit more refined, delivers a silky smooth finish on wood. Silicon carbide shines on harder materials, perfect for smoothing metal or prepping for paint. Alumina zirconia, the aggressive one, tackles tough jobs on various surfaces. Finally, ceramic alumina is a specialist, excelling on hardwoods. Now let's talk about grit. Think of it as the sandpaper's toothiness. Lower numbers mean coarser grit, perfect for removing material quickly. Higher numbers signify finer grit, ideal for smoothing and polishing. Sanding, my friends, is more than just brute force. It's about finesse, about working with the wood, not against it. Hand sanding is your trusty sidekick for small projects or delicate details. Use a sanding block for even pressure. This prevents those dreaded dips and valleys in your workpiece. For curved surfaces, wrap the sandpaper around your fingers, conforming to the shape like a glove. For larger projects, power sanding is your time-saving ally. Orbital sanders and belt sanders become extensions of your hand, making quick work of smoothing large surfaces. But always sand with the grain. Sanding against the grain creates unsightly scratches, marring the wood's natural beauty. Remember, patience is a virtue, especially in woodworking. Take your time, let the sandpaper do the work, and enjoy the process of transforming rough wood into a smooth canvas. Section 4. Mastering the grit progression for optimum results. Sanding is like a dance, a graceful progression from coarse to fine. Each grit plays its part, preparing the stage for the next. Begin with a coarser grit, around 60 to 80. This is your rough cut, removing imperfections and leveling the playing field. Next, move to a medium grit, like 120 to 150. This smooths out the scratches left by the coarser grit, refining the surface. Finally, finish with a fine grit, such as 220 or higher. This final polish removes any remaining imperfections, leaving a surface ready for finishing. Imagine a sculptor working on a marble statue. They wouldn't start with a fine chisel, they'd rough out the form first. Sanding is no different. Each grit refines the previous one, bringing you closer to the desired finish. Section 5. End grains. Special considerations for a uniform look. End grains, those stubborn cross-sections of wood fibers, can be a bit trickier to sand. They tend to soak up more stain, resulting in a blotchy appearance if not handled with care. The key is to treat end grains with a lighter touch and a finer grit. After sanding the main surface with your final grit, use a grit 1 or 2 levels higher on the end grain. This ensures the end grain doesn't absorb more stain than the surrounding area, creating a more uniform look. Think of it like this: the end grain is thirstier than the rest of the wood. By sanding it smoother, you're essentially giving it a smaller straw, preventing it from guzzling up too much stain. Section 6. The impact of sanding: stain, smoothness, and adhesion. Sanding is more than just a cosmetic procedure. It directly impacts how the wood accepts stain, its overall smoothness, and the adhesion of finishes. Finer grits create a smoother surface. This allows for a more even stain penetration, resulting in a richer, more consistent color. On the other hand, a rougher surface can lead to uneven stain absorption, creating a blotchy and unprofessional look. The smoothness achieved through sanding also affects the final feel of the piece. A well-sanded surface feels luxurious to the touch, enhancing the tactile experience of the wood. Conversely, a poorly sanded surface feels rough and unfinished, detracting from the overall craftsmanship. Moreover, sanding creates microscopic grooves on the wood surface. These grooves provide mechanical adhesion for paints, stains, and varnishes. A properly sanded surface ensures that the finish adheres evenly, resulting in a longer-lasting and more durable finish. Section 7. Tips and Tricks. Secrets to sanding like a pro. Sanding, like any craft, has its secrets. These tips and tricks, passed down through generations of woodworkers, can elevate your sanding game from amateur to artisan. Before you even pick up a piece of sandpaper, ensure the wood is clean and dry. Any dust or debris will embed in the sandpaper, creating scratches instead of removing them. When sanding by hand, use a light touch and let the paper do the work. Too much pressure can create dips and valleys, especially with coarser grits. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. For rounded surfaces, use narrow strips of sandpaper or sanding sponges. These conform to curves more easily, preventing flat spots and maintaining the shape of your workpiece. After sanding, use a tack cloth or a vacuum cleaner with a brush attachment to remove all dust. This ensures a clean surface for finishing, preventing imperfections from marring your hard work. Finally, trust your senses. Feel the wood with your hands. If it feels smooth and consistent, you're on the right track. If not, continue sanding until it meets your satisfaction.